Oh, yeah, it's another episode of the Social Distance Drinking Club. This time, boom, a really exciting episode of Booze News Tonight. If you've noticed, it's only two of us. I fired Adam and Brett. I did it. They're fired.
And this is weird because last Sunday you were talking about replacing me and just leaving Adam Ledford as the only Adam.
If
Here
you
we
guys,
are, 2 shows later, and I'm still standing. So what's up now, Ledford?
well, if you get him a curly-haired wig, maybe the Adams can be interchangeable. It'll be totally fine. We can make that work.
Dude, my hair is out of control. It's my quarantine-ish hair, and yeah, we're learning a lot about my Jewish curls and fro and everything that happens. I never let it get this long before.
What do we call my curls at that point?
You have curls?
That's rude. Are they Semitic curls? I don't know what we call them. I have no idea. Guys, thanks for joining us. Is it episode 43? This is nuts. We started this thing off, and here we are. If you guys remember, a couple months back, we had Chef Silvana slated to be on the show. Some things came up. She couldn't join us, but she's here, guys. She's backstage right now, hanging out in the virtual green room. I am so excited to have her on. We've got Stephen Jones coming on a little bit later in the show. Thank you guys for joining us. Tell us in the comments what you're drinking. And lucky for you guys, you get me and just this Adam. Just this one today. That's it.
This guy.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Right now, I'm going to
what they want.
Give the people what they want. Give them the Adam. I'm going to tell you guys what I'm having real quick, but it's my usual go-to, a delicious Tanqueray gin and tonic in a Tanqueray glass. So, hey, Tanqueray, call me. Maybe. I don't know. Send some cash over. It's all good. Everybody hurting.
Fair.
Need some cash. Adam Green, what do you got?
But it may surprise you guys to hear, but I've been drinking Wren House tonight. Earlier before the show, their pre-prohibition lager. It was nice, very delightful. And now for the show, I've opened up Whitewater Draw. These are their 2 of them that came in their double can release today. Our good buddy Sam Frazier was my mule proxy friend who picked them up for me because he was making runs all over the place. So, yeah, little Wren House for today. Out of character, I know, but
speak of the devil, but there he is. He's got a Dunkelweiss in his hands. Anna Rose says, "I'm so sorry, but I gave up on social distance drinking because I gave up on anything but work or home." Hey, you know what? You do you, boo. You got to do you. Get after it. Everybody's got to get paid. We can't afford to drink if we're not making money. That's where I'm at. So, before we bring it in the comments, can we talk about your shirt for a second, Adam?
Yeah. What about?
Tell me more about the Domingo Baseball Academy.
Well, there's this
the Dominican accent.
Internet comedian Domingo Ayala, who is this like a baseball player and does some really funny stuff. And I figured in honor of baseball coming back today, I'd wear the shirt.
Fair enough. It is opening day, guys. There's sports. It blew my mind. I was driving back down. If you guys follow us on Instagram or Facebook, you guys saw some of those photos. I was driving back down from Cottonwood, went up and visited some of our friends up at the vineyards up there. You'll see them on the show in the near future. And some of you guys got to see Chef Chris Smith from Merkin Osteria up there. One of my favorite places to go and eat up north. But yeah, I missed the fact that live sports were a thing today.
Yeah, and it's interesting because like I was watching basketball, the Suns were playing, and it was like they're scrimmage against the Jazz, so it doesn't count. And then the baseball game, the Yankees and the Nationals, there's no fans in the stands. And it's like, okay, baseball is like the sport itself doesn't need fans, right? Like you don't need fans to play a baseball game. But when you're watching one and you're not getting that ambient noise and, a fly ball that everybody thinks, oh my God, this is a home run when it's a shallow out, to right field or something, you kind of miss that. But that's the new normal for now. And at least there's sports which gives people, once the seasons really start, something to kind of focus their energy on and get upset about that as opposed to what's happening in the world around us.
So for those of you who don't know, Adam Green comes from a sports journalism background. You basically covered the Cardinals for a little while.
Yeah.
And that's your thing. You're excited that sports are back. I'm excited that I can go out and eat because I covered food. And by covered food, I mean I covered myself in food because I love to eat and drink.
You're supposed to eat it. It goes in the mouth, you can't digest food through osmosis.
I get that, but you got to understand there's a passion thing there. And 2 of my favorite chefs in the state are on, coming up soon. Chef Silvana is hanging out. We're going to talk about that because she has been doing so much, but she has been one of the folks who had her restaurant closed during this entire pandemic situation. And we've brought it up before on the show that people have had to make that decision, especially to keep themselves safe and to keep other people safe. We're going to talk about all that. This whole thing it's just going on for a while. But in the meantime, tell us what you're drinking in the comments. I'm going to introduce Chef Silvana here in just a moment. Adam, what have you done with your fridge? Because you told me you had some crazy stuff going on.
Oh, what have I done with my fridge?
Mm-hmm.
My new beer fridge is full of beer. I've done what it's meant to be. I've done to it. Just I'm at a point where you realize anytime something comes out like Rent House, you remember, so you pick up the Rent House stuff. And then we were in San Diego last month, so picked up a lot of stuff from San Diego from Beer Project and a lot of things, Bottle Logic and other breweries, Tombstone, been coming out with some great stuff. So I get that, and it seems like as quickly as I'm drinking some of it, especially like this show is a great excuse to drink beer, which sometimes I feel like I need, but I'm collecting faster than I'm drinking, which in a lot of cultures isn't a problem. But in terms of storage space, it's becoming an issue.
At that point, I think consumption is your issue. You're not drinking enough beer.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to argue with that. And there's only so many non-work hours in a day. And that's what I'm running up against. I'm not asking for anyone to feel bad for me. Don't get me wrong. I do have a weekend, and I might remember this one, but there's also a good chance I won't.
There is that.
But it's all in the name of fridge space.
Bingo. Well, folks, without further ado, tell us what you're drinking in the comments, but you've all been waiting, I'm sure. Thank you for joining us. Nice, Golden Pineapple. Great choice. They just opened up. I had the oysters last week, and they were phenomenal. Also, their pina colada is not a blended one. It's one of the stirred mixed pina coladas, shaken rather. That's my favorite thing. Breadfruit does that. Little Rituals does it. They do it as well. So good. John Miller, thanks for joining us, my friend. G&T, that's what I've got right now, right here. That's the choice. If you guys don't know, John is one of the proprietors of Caskworks. So if you like good local stuff and you're supporting local, grab some Caskworks gin. It's great.
And these days, a G&T, people feel better about than a G-O-T.
There is that. Also, nobody likes Game of Thrones. Nobody likes.
Not the way it ended.
All right, guys, it's time to bring on the much-awaited, much-anticipated Chef Silvana Salcido Esparza of Barrio Cafe. Chef, how are you?
I am well, thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us today. I know you've been incredibly busy these last couple of months, and it's a pleasure to have you on the show. We've tried a couple of times, and things just kept coming up. So I'm so excited to have you here with us. Happy birthday, by the way, a day late, but
thank you.
What do you got going on?
Well, I got a bottle of Tres Agaves, which is a lot more than your G&T.
You know what? Listen, hold on a second, Chef. Put that in front of everybody on that camera so they can see it. Yeah, step your game up, everybody. She's got Tres Agaves right there.
Reposado.
Yep. Tell us what you're drinking, because Chef wants to know too. I like the little.
Messing around.
She's got the mini red Solo cup, so she's definitely getting after it right now.
Well, like 15 feet from here is my pool, so I have to make sure I can be able to go in there with the drink.
Fun fact, really quick.
Yeah.
Those little Solo cups, you can fit a ping pong ball in them. Like you can find a way to, if you're playing beer pong, get a ping pong ball in there. I have some PTSD from a beer pong match that I lost because of that.
That you lost a ping pong match?
No, beer pong. Beer pong.
I think one of my nieces left this for a party or something, but hey, salud, y'all.
Yeah.
If you leave it behind, no man left behind. You got to finish the bottle, right, Chef? That's it.
Oh, yeah. I don't know about this. That's a lot of bottle.
We're sorry, Tres Agaves, but that's a lot of bottle.
Ridiculous.
Says hello. I'm assuming to you, Chef She says,
Oh, yeah. Hey, Lynn.
and this has got to be family. But Ruben says, Barrio Cafe. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And speaking of Barrio Cafe, we're going to talk about that right now. So you have been closed since, do you remember what day you had to close?
I don't even know what month we're in.
Time is a construct. We've been saying it for months.
March 14th was the first day I was closed. And we closed and we were off and running, you know. We had choices to make and no direction. So we just kind of made shit up as we went. And I got busy feeding the community because I couldn't sit still, you know.
And that's, you did a lot because you made a decision similar to some of our other friends like Chef Stephen Jones and Chef Danielle to close down and keep people safe and tell people to wear a goddamn mask and just, you know, keep it together. But
Yeah.
you were out there in the community feeding people, feeding frontline workers. What else?
Well, what happened is I think I had coronavirus. It came back a negative test, but early on, those tests were coming back erroneous. So I believe I had coronavirus, but I had a quarantine for a couple of weeks. I had all this food in the refrigerator in the walk-in. So I started getting my niece and volunteers to go over there and start feeding people. And I coordinated from my home, which is across the alley. So I can get on a little thing that I have there and look over the wall and give people the keys to open and direction. And then at night I would go over there and check things out and then come back home. Except for like 3 days, I really thought I was going to have to go to the hospital. It was pretty bad. But I remembered I had Rick Simpson oil, so I took that marijuana oil and adios motherfucking coronavirus.
You know, and I'm glad you brought up the Rick Simpson oil because a lot of people don't know that you took that medicinally because you had been diagnosed with, I don't want to speak out of turn. I can't say exactly what it was. It was.
No, I have a uncurable disease called sarcoidosis, which is fully systemic. It fucks up your eyes, makes you blind, and your skin, your nose, your nostrils. I have it in my lymph nodes. I had it in my liver where I needed a liver transplant. And most recently, I had in my kidneys where I needed dialysis and up for a transplant. I wasn't peeing anymore. Guess what I did? And I saved my own life because there's no cure. I'm not going to survive this disease. It's just a matter of how long I could keep it at bay.
Well, we're hoping you can keep it at bay as long as possible. Actually, this is funny because when you started posting about Rick Simpson oil, if I can recall correctly, it was probably about 2 years ago, right?
3.
3 years ago. When you did that,
3.
I looked it up because I didn't know anything about it. And I watched, you may have even posted an entire like short documentary that was on YouTube because I watched this 30-minute clip from a guy in Canada that was using pounds and pounds of marijuana to make this Rick Simpson oil.
Right.
Because it was such a strong, concentrated tincture.
It saved his own life.
Yes, that's the one I watched. That's the one.
Right.
Yep. So
somebody said, "Hey, chef," you know, because I'm like, I'm fucked. I'm gonna die. Because I was. The doctors told me, "You're dying." You know, you either get a new liver, which no way, or you're gonna die. And I went, so be it. And so I went and did some research, and what I settled on was Rick Simpson oil, vegan, and any kind of holistic medicine. I got a guy out of New Mexico that helped my aunt battle cancer. And whatever I did, it worked, man. It made me sick as a dog. I thought I was going to, you know, go see baby Jesus, and I was looking for the pearly gate. And I'm here for a reason, I guess. I don't know. I kind of wish I would let myself die, man, with this fucking coronavirus.
Hey,
I know.
Don't say that, chef. We don't want you to go.
I'm just fucking around. The truth is, I just talk shit, but the truth is, I'm here for a reason. You know, I got coronavirus, and yet I survived that stuff. And you know, like with the whole coronavirus thing, I couldn't possibly sit back and sell my, you know, Tres Agaves margaritas through, you know, little Ziploc bags and shit with the straw in them and make it funky. And because I didn't think it was essential. Right off the bat, I'm like, let's flatten this fucking curve. Let's kill it. Let's everybody behave, right? Everybody's behaving. As soon as we got a stimulus check, I saw this beat up jalopy with a couple of kids in it. They were holding like I don't know, 120-inch TV on top of the thing, just like this with their stimulus check, you know? And I started seeing the streets buzzing more, and I went, oh, shit, we're in trouble. Yep. You know, and we're in trouble.
And we are, and as a matter of fact, we'll talk about it a little bit later. But I mean, even today, we just ended up with what, an indefinite, maybe, I don't know, question mark from you know, Uncle Dougie, as we like to call him.
Yeah. No. You know what we have is, I heard today in the news for the first time. I was listening to NPR, as I'm delivering my own food, by the way. I'm not too proud to say that. But on the way back, I was listening to NPR, and I hear a term that I had not heard, and that is permanent unemployment. That means you're not going to get a freaking job back, man.
Permanent
unemployment.
What is that supposed to mean? Is permanent unemployment saying that certain jobs are never going to come back?
Yeah.
Or that we're going to get to a point where our workforce can't come back at the same level or strength, level of employment?
Well, this is Moctezuma.
Right. That's my. Oh, that's right. You did adopt a cat.
I did. I adopted this little guy, and I turned into a cat lady like overnight. Look, watch. Oh, see, he kisses me. See, watch. Ow!
Oh boy. Yeah, he kisses with his nails, Chef.
No, you know what? He was found in a wall, 3 days old. So he never was raised by anything else other than a human, and he acts like a dog. So it's like a 2-for-1. I get a dog and a cat and a little bit of a human, I guess.
I love it.
You know what I'm hearing here, Chef? And like, it's interesting that you thought you had COVID early on when people really didn't know what COVID was. So I can't even understand how scary that was, because even back in March, most were just like, there was this back and forth, like, it's the worst thing ever, or it's just the flu. No one knows what's going on back then. And here we are now, 4 months later, we have a much better idea. But from everything I've talked to you about and read up on you, it's like you took as much control over all this as you could. You know, in a time when everything's so uncertain, like you just said, you made decisions in a time when people were hesitant to make decisions or didn't know what decisions to make. Like,
yeah, you know, like nobody knows what the fuck is going on, dude. I'm like, for real. Like, I went to culinary school. I have been executive chef at Sun Devil Stadium when I did the Cardinals and ASU. And I've had almost a 30-year career feeding people. Actually, probably since I was at 6. I know that somewhere, somehow, I made somebody sick. I'd be lying. I'd be lying if I say I didn't. Somehow, inadvertently, however, okay. This pandemic, like, I don't know about you, but I never lived the pandemic. I didn't go to pandemic school.
You know, everybody keeps trying to give us this whole Spanish flu conversation, which is great. It's actually a good parallel, but if you look at it, what did we tell people to do? Wear masks, stop touching each other, and stay the fuck home.
You know, Spanish flu wish they had the information we have, you know, like you could just wear a freaking mask and save. We could have killed this. Staying home and wearing a mask. Oh my God, washing your hands, sanitizing. But no, Spanish flu, if you go out to Goodyear, there's a cemetery out there filled with hundreds upon hundreds of Mexican immigrants who were toiling the ground to all that fertile ground now used to be desert. And they converted it. They toiled it. And they died. Their families back in Mexico never knew.
Yep.
You go over there, you get like the chills in that cemetery. You know, they're still crying for whatever they're looking for. And that was the pandemic. that killed all those families.
Well, Chef, I don't think you disagree with what we've been telling people, but it's this. Wear a mask and wash your damn hands. Just do it. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
But like even then, like we didn't get to that point, like especially like wear a mask and wash your damn hands. That wasn't back in March, right? Back in March was kind of like wash your hands and we don't know what's going on. And that's what made it so interesting because like there were people who were early adopters, and Chef, it seems like you were one of saying, you know, you closed down early and you got tested, you tried to make sure because you thought you had it. There were a lot of people who were slow to get to that point, and now it's what's really upsetting. We're here in it's July, it's towards the end of July, and there's still people not taking that advice and not doing those things that we know for a fact these things will help end this pandemic, save lives, and people aren't doing it. And you've been doing it for 4 months now, 4.5 months.
You know what pisses me off? Not much. But the fact that I closed the restaurant to save another one. I've stayed close. I've tried to do the best I can to encourage others to do the same and whatever to flatten this curve. All that for what? You know, really, I'm out of money. I didn't have a season to get me through this summer. We're in summer. People are still on freaking vacations, acting like there's no pandemic, you know, like stay home and vacation at home, be creative. But no, they're out there. You know, I'm in Las Vegas, I'm in Disney, you know, wherever they're in Port San Diego.
And everybody's looking for a way out right now because I think we're all getting cabin fever from staying home. I mean, listen, I get it. You get it. We all get it.
I get it.
Adam took a very safe trip out to San Diego. He chose to drive home because he was.
We were in Disneyland at the end of February. Like my fiance, we went because this was like we didn't know it was like there wasn't really a pandemic. You know, it's like we heard of a couple things, but you weren't really worried about it. But we were in Disneyland. We got back. We're like, oh shit! Like we were in Disneyland around a ton of people going to breweries and stuff. Obviously, no distancing, no masks. We weren't washing our hands nearly as much as we should have been. And then, like, but it's like you're like, wait, what? Did we get exposed to this? Like, I remember being in line for a ride and some girl was sneezing just like all over the place. I'm like, was that? Like, we don't know. And that's in the early stages of this. That's where it's kind of scary, but also people are just like, either you're terrified or you don't give a shit. You know, in March, that's kind of how it was for people.
But here's the thing, Adam. Like, you're worried about February in Disneyland, and I was in the Bahamas in March. I thought I was going to come home and just keel over and die. We had no idea what was going on.
Yeah.
So,
Right. February 26th. What?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I said I was in Europe, and that's where I caught my little whatever the hell I had on a ship that had come out of Italy.
Yeah, that tracks. That seems like from what we
know. I didn't make out with anybody, but you know, I did sure as you know, like do this kind of drinking with them. You know, I drank a lot on that ship.
Well, and that's how it works, right? You gotta when you're overseas, you're hanging out, making friends, drumming it up, hugging people you just met 30 seconds ago.
And then in London, I was hugging and kissing on all these reporters because they were coming to the restaurant that I created for this cruise ship. And, you know, I was all over. The third night on that ship, maybe the fourth, we went into the English Channel and I got sick. And it wasn't like sick. It was just like my throat hurt. I'm going to lay down. Everybody went drinking and dancing. And I went, I'm going to take the night off. Needless to say, even with a little cough, I still went dancing every other night because that's, you know, my style. But I'm like, that was early on coronavirus. There's no other way.
So you're a dancer too. Going out getting.
Hey.
All right,
definitely.
I want to pivot for a second because we've got some news for people who may not have seen it. But I'll digress for a moment. You had to close what I assumed was one of your greatest projects, Barrio Cafe Grand Reserva.
Yeah.
And it was incredible. I came there, I think, within the first few weeks that you were open with friends of the show and friends of mine, Chris and Amy Macbeth. We sat down and had dinner with you there. It was actually, I don't know if you were there that night. I came again a second time, but it was incredible. But you had to close that in order to save the original Barrio Cafe, right?
Yes.
When did you have to make that decision, and how long into this
April
pandemic did it take?
Yeah, it took about 30 days, and we went after the PPP, and the answer was there's no PPP. The money has, you're lucky if you get it for Barrio Cafe. You're definitely not getting it for your little restaurant. So I closed it. Not only that, but you think about it and you think, we're in a pandemic. This is like, I don't know, 1930s, the 1919. History tells us that tasting menus are not the way to go right now. So, and that's what I was doing out of there. I wasn't doing like burritos or, poor people food, comida pobre. I was doing some fancy ass shit. So I didn't think it was going to be sustainable. And I was right. I know I'm right. I'm still right. And you know what? I'm right. I'm right that we're not going to get any better. That's where I'm right. And it's sad. It's very sad. Sorry. Other chefs don't like to hear that.
And listen, we try to do a reality check on this show, but we also want to bring people back and have fun because we got some good news. We got great news. I mean, you've got
the good news. You want to hear the good news? The good news is that something as nasty as this pandemic makes badasses out of those who are really badasses, right? So things that I was going to do in my retirement in a couple of years, because I'm 60, I'm doing now. And I'm very happy with what I'm coming up with in terms of food and in terms of my product line, in terms of selling my food through Gold Belly. I'm working with Gold Belly. I'm going to sell my stuff personally online, frozen cochinita, frozen chile verde, frozen stuffed peppers, chorizos, you name it. I was going to do that anyway. I just have to boom, do it quicker. So it's forcing me to do something. Ni modo. And there's out of a negative, there's always a positive.
So you got some birthday wishes.
Hey, real quick, Chef, I don't know if you see the comment at the bottom, but Lauren, happy belated birthday, Chef. Had Barrio taken a couple of days ago. I want to talk more about what you're doing up next, but we've got Stephen Jones hanging out in the wings. He's only got a few minutes. He's got a family dinner he's got to get back to, I believe. But I'm going to bring him in real quick because I know you guys know each other.
I love that guy.
And we'll talk some more about what you've got going on since you're opening up, but also about what Stephen Jones has going on. So, Stephen, I'm going to add you right now.
I'll drop for a second.
What's up, y'all?
What's up, Stephen?
What's up, Chica? Sorry, I look all crazy. My hair's all whacked out.
Oh, man.
What's going on?
Chef, thank you for joining us. I can't say Chef anymore. I have to say, is it okay if I just say Silvana and Stephen? You guys comfortable? You good?
I'm good with that.
Nobody has to call me doctor. It's fine. Thank you for joining us. You've been here a little bit, so you've heard a little bit of the conversation we've had with Chef Silvana.
I have.
And if you've got any input you want to drop in there, please feel free, and then we'll pivot over to what you've got as a pop-up right now, because you had to close again last week before last?
No, we closed 4th of July weekend.
But you opened back up for a little bit.
Yeah, we opened back up a little bit, and then realized that wasn't going to work, and that wasn't the right thing to do. So we shut it down, and we moved to basically something that we did previously that kind of worked for us and our model and what we do, and that's just doing the pop-ups. From a business model, from a cost model, from an economics model, it just worked best for us, and not to mention above all, from a safety thing for our staff. So our staff and the people.
And that's the decision to make. I mean, you guys saw that Chef Danielle last week did just a quick one-day pop-up for her jerk chicken. And it was like, we got to do something. You got to generate some revenue to keep businesses going. And we've been talking about, since Danielle came on the show the first time, saving Arizona restaurants and saving restaurants in general for people who are foodies, who are Epicureans. They need to save these restaurants. These guys aren't going to last. Some of these are literally hurting small businesses so hard. Even like the Series 6, Series 7 bar license thing. It just hurts.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Who the hell has a 6 and 7? Small business owners.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, as a whole, it all just sucks from speaking from an economic standpoint. I know my sister Silvana was talking about what's going through. It sucks when you have to sacrifice one for the other. You have to make that choice. You know what I mean? She made the hard choice, and now the choice is this choice that she has to live with. And a lot of people are in that same footing, and simply because, like, again, the economics don't add up. And we haven't even begun to even experience and see, what the fallout from this will be. We still have to get through fall. And if you think about it, Arizona, typically what we have is a summer that everyone plans for. Everyone, builds up and builds their larder, so to speak, and with hopes that, and knowing, not hopes, but knowing that the fall comes, you get students coming back, you get concerts, you get conventions, you get snowbirds back, you get all these things that aren't going to happen this time. Like, I don't know if people are really thinking about this. I understand, because I think a lot of people, especially the people who are not in the restaurant industry, are just simply thinking that this thing is just affecting their summer, ruining their summer. No. The summer is it just is. It is what it is what it is. We, from the restaurant industry, we are going to experience, and we are getting gifted a 9.5 month, almost 10-month summer, 9.5 month summer. And as a small business owner, as a restaurant, the numbers don't add up. You know what I mean? The economics don't add up. So we have to do these things. We have to pivot. We have to use these different tools in the shed that we have to dig deep and go through.
Creativity is what is keeping people alive right now. And I think if one positive thing that immediately comes to mind during this pandemic, it is that we have learned to think differently, especially as entrepreneurs, small business owners, people like myself and you guys. I mean, like, that's what we do. We just start thinking differently.
See, but then that right there is also one of the problems too. Is that, like, we won't. I know my sis Silvana's gonna agree with me. And this is like, we won't survive doing these to-goes and pivoting, and that's just not our business model. Isn't that? It's not even
sustainable.
It's not sustainable. We're not even putting like a bandage on the wound. There's still rent. There's still taxes. There's taxes on taxes. You know what I mean? There's still overhead. There's still expenses. Like, our expenses are bananas. All right, I'm getting the tea time from the wife here. Yeah. So, like, when we talk about this, I really wish people would, and I need people to think about the fall and think about the months after the summer. The summer is just, it is what it is. You know what I mean?
Before you leave us, Chef, I want to bring something up before you go, Chef Steven. But you have a pop-up tomorrow. One day, is that still available? People can make.
Yeah, definitely. You could definitely log on to our reservation page and click the to-go link, and then you're going to get a pop-up that will let you know all the to-go stuff that we have going on tomorrow. Again, it's kind of some of our cloud pleasers and things that we've done in the past. We're doing, our Hop and John, the dish that I beat Bobby Flay with. It's vegan, vegetarian. That's a fun one. We're doing a couple different po' boys, catfish and shrimp po' boy. We're also doing our KFC sandwich. This time around, it's really kind of a more of a just kind of lighter kind of meal, so to speak, instead of just like our hot chicken or our full meals.
I'm gonna pull up this menu for everyone to look at. Check out the Larder and the Delta, guys. They have that going on right now. I think this is the menu, if I'm not mistaken.
That is the menu. Nice job.
So take a look at that. I know it's hard to see right now on the screen, but if you look up the Larder and the Delta, you can order.
Yeah, definitely. It's a great menu. We got a whole roast of cauliflower on there. Done with the Catino's hot sauce, their miso version. It's a fun menu. I'm really looking forward to this tomorrow. A lot of people coming out. We're at, like, when I last looked, we were at like 70 different, rezos for tomorrow. 70 different people have joined us, so it should be a fun day. We still got plenty of food, so jump on it and get in it.
Perfect. Chef, thank you for your time. I know we interrupted your dinner, but I wanted you guys to have a conversation together tonight and see each other and say hi to each other.
Thank you. Besos.
Besos.
All right, y'all.
That makes my heart happy, connecting people right now, even if it's on the internet on a screen. And I cannot wait to sit with all of you. And you know what, Chef, you can bring the cat too. Is it Moctezuma?
Moctezuma.
Moctezuma. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Moctezuma, Chef Stephen Jones, and myself, and Adam Green and the boys from the show will all have a shot of tequila together when this thing all blows over.
You damn right.
A shot or the bottle.
Hey, wait a minute, Stephen, you got a drink in hand?
Pass that around.
I do. I'm drinking a little. It's a Terra Rouge Syrah right now. So
Show us.
You know, I'm all in about the wine right now. It's a little Terra Rouge Syrah from California. Tasty. If you see it out there, run and grab it. If not, if you're in the restaurant industry, talk to some friends in the industry. They all know it. It's a good one.
Nice. I just came down from wine country, Arizona, so I've got way more wine than I know what to do with. Right?
Oh, I think you know what to do with it.
I mean, I do. But I saw our boy Chef Chris Smith up there, so hey, I got a little crazy.
That's my guy.
I know. Tell us in the comments what you're drinking. Chef Stephen Jones, thank you. Chef Silvana, you still got some time on you, right? I wanna move on to what you've got going on tomorrow as well.
All right, y'all. I gotta run.
All right, I'll see you later. Thank you. I'm gonna bring Green back on. Thank you so much to Chef Stephen Jones. Silvana, you've got a little bit of time. I want to talk about what you've got going on because you chose to reopen tomorrow.
Yeah, let me tell you why. And I was very, 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 very transparent. I don't want to fucking reopen. But if I don't reopen, I'm going to sell everything, pack up my bags, and go live in Mexico in my house because this is not sustainable. I'm not going to spend whatever time I have in my life trying to make a sinking ship survive. And that's the truth, man. That's just the truth. I don't know how to put it any other way. So I'm going to reopen. I'm going to give it that old school try. I got all kinds of Felix the Cat bags in my tricks in my bag. But the truth is, the news is pretty grim out there. So we might have to wait this one out. I'm not sure. We'll find out.
I don't think you're wrong. I think you're 100% right. We're probably going to wait this one out. Reopening is probably not a negative choice at this point in Arizona, just because people are going to come spend the money. But it's a dilemma for people like us who have clearly noticed that there is a problem. And if we just shut shit down properly months ago, we'd be back in business right now, right? So
yes. I paid my employees. Look, I didn't want to be Mac Daddy. I had money kind of put away in projects and so on for my retirement. I'm 60. I want to retire 62, maybe 65. I don't know. But this stuff happens. I got employees in there who got families to feed. They support families back in Mexico. So I chose to keep them home, do my civic duty, and pay them. And everybody okay. And then I put my life on jeopardy, basically, by going out and working in my own kitchen to feed homeless and to feed my community and to feed the hospital workers.
And you were doing that. I mean, you were out. I was early on
doing it.
Have you on the show was when we first launched the thing in what was it, late March, Adam? I think something like that. Mid-March.
The construct at this point.
Yeah. And Chef was like, I can't make it. She was making meals. She had to get meals out to people the next day. Frontline workers who were feeding the homeless. You were going out to the homeless shelter. I loved one of those videos of you pulling up with the camera and asking some dude in the car about why they were there, talking about they want their rights and they don't want to wear masks. You know what I'm talking about? The one that
I was like, are you going to feed some homeless? Is that why you're here? He's like,
no, I'm going to jail.
Goddamn homeless are lazy. And his son's like, shut up, Dad. He's like, goddamn homeless, they're lazy. They don't want to work a job.
That's what it was.
God bless you, sir.
Like, Chef, you're not Captain Edward Smith, right? This isn't the Titanic. We're far enough.
No.
You have
but I'm a realist.
Yeah, but like with that comes like we have a much better understanding of if you're going to open, what's the safest way to do it, right? Like this isn't March, this isn't April, this is we know what works. Like there's nothing is 100% foolproof during a pandemic. We know that.
No.
But you have to weigh the risk of closing down entirely and being done, or opening up and doing it as safe as you possibly can. And obviously, people enjoy your food. You're great at what you do, so it's like weighing that. It can't be easy, but it also sounds like for me personally, like I've been watching, which places have opened up, which ones have been doing the right thing, which ones we go to do takeout early on before the second shutdown or whatever came a couple weeks ago, and there's like no distancing in their restaurant. It's like, what the hell are you doing? Like, there's still a pandemic, but like talking to you and hearing you, I'm not worried about you doing this the wrong way in any capacity. Like, I trust that if you're opening up, you're going to do this as safe as you can, not only for your customer, but for your employees and yourself.
And then, I had the health department tell me that they wish more chefs were like me, and that's not the first time I hear that. When I was at ASU, I ran the entire ASU, including the stadium, and I'm a little bit of a germaphobe that way. Like, these guys are doing what? And they put the where and what? Let's clean this shit up, dude. And the Barrio has been totally sanitized, remodeled. I spent, in addition to paying my employees a lot of money, getting my restaurant back up to what I thought was good. I have a company come in the morning, and they're going to sanitize everything for me. I fed a lot of people, thousands of people during this pandemic, and nobody got sick. And we were strict. The health department came to my door, and I said, "Where's your mask?" And they're like, "Oh, we don't have one." I said, "When you come back with a motherfucking mask, then I'll let you in."
You're talking like a health inspector came to your door, and you were like,
twice, and I didn't let him in. Twice, two different vatos, and I was like,
"That's why."
I'm like, "Are you shitting me? Where's your mask?" Because we don't have any. I'm like, "Well, when you come back with your mask, you can come inspect me. Until then, stay away."
That's crazy. I mean, the health department, guys.
They're judging you. Are you safe to be open? It's like, you're not safe enough to judge me right now. Like, what do you do?
You just walk into my place of business without a mask on? Get the fuck out of here.
No. He goes, "Well, I can close you down." I go, "If you want to be the vato that closes down a community kitchen because you came with no mask, orale, during a pandemic, go ahead, be that guy."
There you go.
What are you gonna
do? Do we know a Chef Enrique Cortez?
Of course I do. Orale, Enrique.
Enrique, thank you for watching the show. He says, Saludos, Chef Silvana. Cuídese mucho. Great to see you with this talented group. Thank you. That's a compliment for us and a compliment for the chef. We're happy to share screen space with this wonderful chef. We are. There was a question earlier, Chef, and I'm going to bring it up here in a second, but Scarlet McNeil.
Yeah.
Full menu. Full menu?
Scarlet. No, different menu. When I started Barrio Cafe 18 years ago, I was fresh off a very long backpacking trip through Mexico, where I studied with indigenous and artisanal cooks in villages that now you couldn't go because and I created my menu because I thought that was the only restaurant I would ever have. So I created kind of like a journey of Mexico with some chef authored stuff in there too. Since then, I've opened like a lot of restaurants. I created a lot of restaurants for other people, and I've grown. I've continued to travel. I've continued to study. I continue to grow. And one of the things that I did a couple of years ago, exactly this summer, is I went on a barbecue tour. And once you learn something, you can't unlearn it. And I learned barbecue, American barbecue, because American barbecue is the child of Mexican barbacoa. So I happen to have my menu right here. In it, you got stuff like smoked yams that are in a piloncillo syrup, pollo and mole, but I rub the pollo and I smoke it for 4 hours, so I've taken my own food and I've created other dishes, and I'm just not the same person. I can't be post-pandemic and bring the same food to the barrio. I do have my classics because whether I survive here or not, I'm going to take that wherever I go.
I've got a quick sample, Chef, of your menu. This is going to pop up right on our faces here. But for you guys looking for it, easy. Barrio Cafe on Facebook. On Instagram, you've got it up there. Look up Chef Silvana. You'll find it. But it's going to be hard to read. It's a little tiny, but there it is. There's plenty on that thing. I see the cochinita pibil. Oh, man. Is that chili sin nogada?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. We're in trouble.
Well, that's my to-go menu, but the menu that I just wrote that I haven't published yet because I'm still editing, it's this little guy right here.
Hold on, you've got an unpublished menu.
Yeah, that's for tomorrow.
Show us.
So I got things like queso fundido, that mango, tomate, and camarón, which is this delicious tomato salad that I make with mango, and I also bring in like things like a lot of vegan stuff, I mean, like, hey, I'm not a vegan, but it sure as hell saved my life. And I respect vegans, and so I try to put an equal respect to vegans in my menu, because I also find that vegans are not because, they can't eat something with a little face on it. It's because you have some disease and you're going to freaking die, or you live in pain if you eat meat. So I have a lot of beautiful things in here for the vegans.
That's why Bill Clinton became a vegan, right?
Did he? No, he got all skinny. I thought it was because Monica.
No, I mean, I don't think she sucked the fat out of him. I mean, what?
I was going to go looking for Monica until my disease got a hold of me. I used to be fat. I was a big old girl.
Guys, if you're just joining us, we've got a ton of people watching right now. Please send some questions in for Chef. Tell us what you're drinking in the comments first and foremost. We want to know what you've got in your hand. If it's water, if it's tea, if it's coffee, God damn it, if it's passion fruit juice. I don't care if you got high C Kool-Aid. Tell me what you got in your hands. Chef's got some Tres Agaves. Chef, I'm doing a shot with you before we're done. Show me that bottle one more time so I can see it. There you go. Somebody left it behind, and now we're going to knock that back. But tell us what you're drinking in the comments. And also, if you have any questions for Chef Silvana, ask us in the comments. You know what? We were going to do a Booze News episode tonight, but Chef, if you don't mind hanging out for a few more minutes, I think we're going to do a Chef Silvana episode. That's what it is. It's been decided. It's you. And to spice it up.
Oh, you want me to spice it up? I'm sorry.
No. I said we have some Stephen Jones to spice it up a little bit. We changed it.
I love Stephen Jones.
Because now you've got the Jewish guy over here that way, right? And then you've got the Muslim North African guy over here, and then you had the black guy, and now we've got the Mexican. So at this point, it's the United Nations of drinking at 8:30 in the evening on a Thursday.
And the beauty of the Mexican is that I have your blood, the other guy's blood. Mexicans are like capirotada, like a mole. We have a lot of ingredients in us.
Yes, and I've talked about this before because my family's from North Africa, so I'm sure you know your history. You know that like the Berbers, the Moros, the Berbers in North Africa made their way to Spain, the south of Spain, Andalusia, right? So our history went from there to where else did it go? Right? Where did tacos árabes come from? Where did the spit for meat just spinning around with a pineapple on top come from? It came from Middle Easterns.
From your grandpa.
I mean, probably not my grandpa because he was around shepherding sheep in the mountains of Libya, but maybe his grandpa. I don't know.
from somebody's grandpa. In Cuba, there's a lot of Cuban Lebanese. In Mexico, there's a lot of Middle Eastern, and it did come through the Moorish. But there's a lot of more like bypass the Moorish and let's go to Mexico, the new land, right? And so you see it in the food, right? In Puebla, you see it in the architecture, you see it in the food, you see it in the clothing, tacos árabe. Outside of Puebla, you really don't see them. When I opened the barrio 18 years ago, I had tacos árabe on it. I made al pastor, and I had a big fat flour tortilla that I had somebody make for me, like a pita, because that's what it is. And I made a cucumber salsa, and it was absolutely out of this world. I think Phoenix deserved to eat that because they were really.
And now everybody is. I mean, you were ahead of your time because now everybody's getting all excited about this stuff. You find there's a Netflix show about tacos, and there's a whole episode on tacos árabes and the origin of it and the historic origin of it. There's even like tacos árabes originales in Los Angeles, I think. That
Is it really?
people line up to go get these things, and they don't realize. Hey man, there was an Arab immigrant that showed up in Mexico and was making pita bread, and right next to him, some dude was slapping together some al pastor, and they were like, "These look good together."
Well, like you take the Mexican bread, the marranito, the little pig. It's a gingerbread pig. That exists because the Sephardic Jews were sending a message, and in Europe they were called pigs and considered pigs. So when they come to the new land, they have freedom. So they made a joke. We're little pigs. Now they're selling a little pig. And that's why the shape of the little marranito is a pig. So there's a lot of history of food, which I find fascinating. There's a lot of politics in food. There's a lot of racism in food. And I think there was never more racism in food than right now. More inequality in food than right now.
Well, that's an interesting point because I always find myself looking to experience food from every single culture I can possibly get my hands on. I live on Dobson Road, so if you know the Chandler area, Chef, there's a lot of Asian markets here. We've got Lily's, we've got H Mart just opened up, which is a California joint. You've got the Mekongs, you've got all these places, right? And then I try to go out and find as many other things as I can. I even found a Serbian restaurant in Phoenix. Fantastic. But right now, I feel like people aren't exploring as much as they could. Anything, culture, food, when it comes to culturally attached things with food, they're not exploring.
I think people are scared. They know what they know. Everybody's going to their comfort food, their safe place, whatever it is. Netflix and pizza, I guess, for a lot of Americans.
Hey, but we like pizza, right? You like pizza too.
I freaking love pizza, but every year I met pizza made Mexican style. Okay, Peter Piper, right? I go to Mexico to a birthday party at Peter Piper, and I had to go order another pizza because I ate the kids' freaking pizza. It had chorizo, but then had been smoked like a little sausage. Oh my God, it was so good with these jalapenos.
Wait a minute. Which Peter Piper did you go to that you got chorizo on your pizza?
Put that up here.
The one in Tijuana. That's one.
Okay. All right. Listen, Adam Green, after this whole thing blows over, not only do we have to do a shot with Chef and Chef Stephen Jones and everybody else on the show, but we have to go to Tijuana with her and go to that Peter Piper.
Right. Brought up an interesting point, I thought, too. Like, you guys are talking about people aren't exploring nowadays, like right now. And it's like, obviously, like, when we would go, like, my fiance loves like all sorts of different foods, and we get a lot of Indian food, we get a lot of Thai food, and like we try. But so much of that experience, too, is going to that restaurant and enjoying the ambiance, the atmosphere. That's just a little bit different than what we're used to. And obviously, if you're not dining in right now, if you're just doing carry out and eating that at home, you're eating the food, but you're missing out on the experience. So it's like, even if you want to explore, it's like, is there a way to explore even if you're eating that food at home? I guess that's the question.
I don't know, but for me, dining out is dining out, and to go is to go. There's certain foods that shouldn't be going to go. That's why you don't get enchiladas on my menu. Oh my God, they're going to be nasty and soggy by the time you get them and all dried out. There's no freaking way I put my name to that.
Okay, so but Chef, you know what? It's been a long quarantine. I may have ordered Filibertos at like 1 o'clock in the morning a few times, delivery, and those rolled tacos they still hit the spot, but I was probably a little bit, I might have tied one on.
Well, speaking of drunk food, I'm going to have my noodle all week long, but, Here we are, right? So I'm gonna open up. Let's see how it goes.
Well,
I can't. I'm not putting my regular menu. It's a balanced menu. It's different, and it's not really the menu I wrote for my grand reopening. All right, this is a modified menu for my grand reopening because the other one was pretty extensive. I'm a very prolific writer when it comes to menus. You know, I turn my menus into freaking Cheesecake Factory, and then I have to scale it back. That's why I'm going to write cookbooks, because I just make things up left and right.
For sure. Hey, so we've got a bunch of people watching right now. Any questions you guys have for Chef Silvana, please throw them in the comments. I want to throw some questions at you real quick, Chef, that came up. So you saw the full menu one, but someone asked, Marcela asked, how can high-risk patients pick up food since only dine-in is available starting tomorrow? I don't think it's only dine-in, right? You can
No, I got 3 ways. High risk, I got contactless delivery if you're in the area, and it's a big area too. So, you know, from the I-17 to 44, from Northern to down to Jackson. Today I took a half an hour delivery way out to the North Valley. So we got that, and then we have pickup, which is limited. You come to the door, you pick it up at a bar, and you leave. And then there's dine-in for those who want to dine in. And Godspeed. Look, everybody's eating out, you know, and unfortunately, I'm gonna die if I don't bite the bullet and do it.
I think it's an important reminder to everybody that, like, look, Chef is not opening up because she personally wants to, right? And tell me if I'm speaking out of turn, but because you have to at this point. It's been too long. We waited too long.
At this point, I ran out of money. My back is against the wall. And if you want to eat my food and not see my U-Haul going to Mexico, you better come and support me, motherfuckers, because I'm out of here.
Listen,
I got a beach house in Mexico. I'll be over there writing books.
And
you'll have to make my food.
In Playa, I can't remember the name of the beach you're on, because you're on the Pacific.
De Rosarito. I'm on the Pacific. I'm not stupid. I'm not going to Rocky Point.
No, get out of here. Listen, we can argue.
Rocky Point.
No.
Oh,
listen, Puerto Peñasco might be the last semblance of what should have happened in Mexico, but they're going to ruin it soon. You know they are. They're going to ruin it.
They already ruined it. They're doing a port for.
But they've been working on the port for 15 years. Fucking what port?
All right. We can argue if you want. It's like my mother and father arguing about what border city is better, Juarez or Tijuana. How do you argue that? Tijuana's kick ass. Juarez sucks. You know.
It's the water temperature for me. I don't like to swim in cold water. So, and maybe it's in my blood. My family coming from North Africa, being on the Mediterranean, right, in Libya. So when my dad started taking us to Puerto Peñasco, there weren't even hotels. Like, it was like you drive 3.5 hours, you drive back home. There was nothing there.
It just feels very gringo. You know, my house is in a Mexican neighborhood. I'm good, you know.
Should I be offended by that?
I'll give her that. And I will give her that. But like in comparison to like Cabo San Lucas or Cancun, even Playa del Carmen, like those are gringo spots versus Puerto Peñasco. At least there's not a fucking Senor Frogs there.
Oh, listen.
The moment they put a Senor Frogs in, game over.
In my retirement, I'm not going to take it as Senor Frogs, but in my retirement, my plan has always been for tours of Rosarito and Baja California. Did you know that right now, this last year, Mexico's top cuisine was right where I live? We're talking about Valle de Guadalupe, Ensenada, Rosarito, and Tijuana are Mexico's top-rated cuisine. Some of the 50 top restaurants in the country, in the world rather, are there. I'm just trying to show up a little.
I'll tell you what, Chef. When you go, when this thing all blows over a little bit, when you go, can I join you?
Well, that's what I'm saying. If I have to go to Rosarito, it's not the end of the world. In a couple of years, I'll pop up with a little restaurant. Y se acabó, cabrones, you know. You
wanna make some together tacos árabes? Maybe.
Va, way, tacos árabes. And then we can make tacos,
yes.
You know, like, oh, don't get me going.
I'm bringing mi mama for sure, because, you know, we owned a restaurant here for several years in Phoenix too, and we were making delicious shawarma and all that good stuff. So We're gonna do it. Yeah.
You know when you love certain foods and they feel like comfort food? Middle Eastern food was always that for me. And then I do a DNA and I'm a freaking Jew. I got Iraqi. I got all kinds of stuff. I come from Kings and Queens, and those guys were dipping their dick. I'm sorry, did I say dick? Their little stick everywhere.
Oh man, that's great. Well, hey, listen, we have to do a shot together as we wrap up the show. We're coming up on an hour. I want to pop up a couple of quick photos, but guys, take a look at this one real quick. This says what we have been talking about this whole time. Chef has been talking about. Closed down one restaurant to help save the other, and now she's in danger of closing down again. This is what is happening right now. We talked about it with Chef Danielle. Obviously, you guys heard a little bit from Chef Stephen Jones. Save Restaurants is a hashtag. Take a look at it. I had a link. I'm trying to pull it up. Adam, do you have it handy by chance? The one that we used the other day?
Of course I don't.
Of course you don't.
Screw it. Let's drink.
I'm prepared for that.
Perfect. I have it. It's literally saverestaurants.com. So I'm telling everyone right now, go to saverestaurants.com. Take a look at it. It is literally www.saverestaurants.com. It matters. You can send a message to your congressfolk and let them know. Chef, we're not done yet. We're going to have a quick shot together. I'm going to find the closest thing I have to a shot. I'll be right back. It'll take me a moment. Adam Green, any questions for Chef while we do this? Did anything come up?
From the chat here? Yeah. Not really questions. We just have comments.
Well, pop them in there. I'll be right back.
Like John here likes food. I think we can all agree. Food. Like that's not controversial in any way. Yummy from Marcella. Also reasonable. We have just emojis, which don't tell us much unless we knew exactly what time they came in. But
none of them provided any distinct value to the show, except for this one. Marcella responded.
I'm going down the list, man.
Thank you, is what Marcella said. I'm not in the delivery area. We'll have to pick up. Don't want Chef to leave to Mexico. We are proud of her hard work and support local. That's what you guys need to be doing right there. Support local, support our chefs. And then Angelica Pineda says, Chef Silvana, you're an inspiration. I love, there were two O's. I give her the of your. So there you go, guys.
Well, I mean, it's not the end of the world if I have to go to Mexico. Look, you have to think about, I'm a Phoenician. I was meant to live here because when the house is burning, let the bitch burn. And then out of every volcano that's so destructive always erupts what? Little greenery. Isn't that beautiful? How that green against that black, how it comes? That's going to happen because you can't kill talent and you can't kill intellectual property and you can't kill good shit.
You can't.
And I feel sorry for y'all. You're gonna be stuck with Barrio fucking Queen. Ugh.
Hey, we were gonna get to that, but listen, Chef, if you will allow me the pleasure, I'd love to have you back on the show because that's a story I want to tell to people because I followed it from the beginning. I've followed the whole situation. I'd love to have that conversation with people. We'll talk more about it. But guys, not Barrio Queen, Barrio Cafe, the original, the original, right here. The one and only, the only real Barrio. The real Barrio, I think, is your Instagram handle, is it not?
No, it's Chef Silvana, but it should be.
No, for the rest, is it not the real Barrio?
No, I think it is the Barrio or something like that. I'm not sure. I have to look now.
We'll put it up in there.
Question myself.
You've hashtagged it before, though. You did. You hashtagged the real Barrio. Yes, that's the one. I hashtag all
kinds of shit because I get a little angry, but.
Well, Adam, you have to go ahead, Chef.
No, I said, whatever. Just drink.
There it is. Well, guys, this has been an episode of Booze News Tonight Live, but really we're just kicking it with Chef Silvana. And
news.
Any day. There was a lot of news.
Not booze news in our traditional sense, but this was a great show nonetheless.
I'm going to drop a few things. It was. I'm going to drop a few things on our folks. What are you drinking? Tell us in the comments. We'll look at it after the show as well. Don't forget, masks are sexy. You look damn good in them. And do me a favor, wear a mask and wash your damn hands. There it is. Cool?
Salud, motherfuckers.
Salud. Chef, thank you very much. Hang on tight. When we finish the show, we'd like to have a quick backstage conversation that is not live. But in the meantime, cheers to you guys, and thank you for joining us for an episode of Social Distance Drinking Club. We'll see you on Sunday at 1:30 for the Sunday day drink. Comida chingona.